I thank you all for having me today. This is a huge um, opportunity for me, and not just me, but Native people like myself. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Let me just make sure I can do that. Okay. So usually I like to start with some sort of stereotype or question for the audience. So here's my question for the audience. What's wrong with this photo? Take a minute to just look at it. And this is a real photo. Actually, some of you might have been watching while this popped up on the screen, maybe didn't even think 2 seconds about it. So we have white 65% for the exit poll rate. Latino 13%, Black 12%, something else 6%, Asian 3%. Now, what in the world is this something else? What race is missing here? Maybe you kind of have the hint because I'm Native American myself, but it's for the most part Native American. We are in this group here of something else. Now, there are other groups in this something else as well, but why are we constantly put into the something else or other category and never put into our own category? So this went viral on my Facebook because I follow a lot of Native people and leaders. And what do natives do? We turn it into comedy right away. So we have Daniel Day-Lewis, the last of the something else's. And this was my personal favorite. Move, I'm something else. And this one from Twitter says, wow, I'm something else. My ancestors, the first people of Turtle Island and the Iroquois Confederacy who influenced and shaped the US Constitution and government, by the way, are something else. It's a hashtag Native American, it's hashtag Native American Month. Do better at CNN. Now, I throw this one in here to also say to you all that this is not okay because dressing, appropriating a culture, any culture is not okay. And it happens all the time because people, played cowboys and Indians growing up and didn't think twice about shooting the Indian or anything like that. So with my presentation, I'm going to go through some of the stereotypes that you typically have seen in media. I'd like you to think about the ideas that you have about Native people, and hopefully I can explain how some of these came about and how this injustice affects Native people in our daily lives. And the idea with breaking the barrier between Native America and the rest of America is to create an understanding for Native people so that we feel comfortable in this country as well. So it doesn't start here, but a lot of issues do start here with the Indian Removal Act, which was passed by Congress in 1830 to get rid of Native people and move us to our own territories, which they were taking us out of our homelands where we knew the lands, we knew the animals, we knew how to use the plants for medicines, foods, things like that. We had our crops, forcibly removed us, and in some case made us walk thousands of miles. It's not just the Cherokee Trail of Tears that happened. Many tribes were forced to walk hundreds, thousands of miles and lost a lot of people, and then suddenly placed on deserted lands where we had no idea of the plants around us. A lot of people died not just from sickness, but because we just could not live with the surroundings that we were given. And we were forced to rely upon the US government for food rations. And in some cases, those food rations were very slim or not even given to Native people. And they were forced to ransack government buildings to actually find their own food. And there are that's just a couple of small things. And I will tell you that there are over 567 federally recognized tribes in the United States, but there are even more that are not recognized by the United States government as a tribe. And we're the only card carrying people. We have to carry a card that says how much percent. So for instance, I'm 1/8 Ioway tribe, but I'm also multiple other tribes. But we have to have a card that says the degree of our blood of the certain tribe that you're enrolled in. What can you think of any other living being that has to have a pedigree? Just dogs, right? The biggest genocide in human history did not occur in Nazi Germany, but on American soil. 100 million natives were slaughtered and lost their homelands. And I like to throw this one in to just kind of break it up and put a little bit of our indigenous humor, because humor really is the way that we've been able to be resilient. So I called the white man's restaurant. They said, no, they said I had to make a reservation. So after the Indian Removal Act came the Kill the Indian, Save the Man era. And this was the time when kids were stolen from their homes or sent from their homes to live in boarding schools. So you can see over here on the left, this is how a student would have entered some place like this. These pictures are from Carlisle boarding school. And then afterward, and these were actually promotional pictures to show the differences of the impact that these schools had. But little did they know, I mean, I like to throw this one because not only did they steal our language and our culture, they were punished, these children were punished sometimes very harshly for speaking their own language by getting their tongue pierced, for instance. Or they were punished for, using their cultural practices or getting out of line, or anything that seemed out of the normal way of society and the way that they wanted society to be back then. And so I like to joke that they even stole our tans back then. So this has created a cycle of abuse, and it has created a lot of misunderstanding between native people and the rest of America as well. This shows you where the instance or the term redskin comes from. And just to go through this quickly, if the Cleveland Indians are okay, then why aren't the rest of these okay? The Declaration of Independence, 4th of July, what we celebrate, calls us merciless Indian savages. And so a lot of these little things have kind of piled up today to create a lot of issues that we deal with on a daily basis in a lot of our communities. But that is not the only thing. We are a very resilient people, and there are a lot of really amazing people out there today who are Native, who are making it a difference. And so don't let these stereotypes build up in your brain. And my biggest message to you is reach out to some local Natives and try and find more information about them. You are always on Indigenous land here in America, so find out what Indigenous groups you are standing with. Thank you.